Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Rise or Fall to talk about Monday Night Football. The Seattle Seahawks go to Washington to take on the football team. Stick around, let's dig in. Hey, and we are back. Thanks for being here. Once again, I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Rise or Fall for Monday Night Football. We get an NFC West versus an NFC East matchup. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Washington to take on the Redskins. And first glance, I say this a lot, first glance, it doesn't look so hot. But again, this is one of the games where if we do the homework, we get our notes together, and we kind of plan ahead, we can really make a dent in terms of profit in this one. Before we get into the actual football game, I want to mention Team Rise or Fall. Like, share, subscribe. You know the deal here, but it is Monday, Cyber Monday. If you go to Team Rise or Fall right now, I'll bring the graphic up and you can see it. It's beautiful here. Cyber Monday. Use promo code NBA. That's it, NBNNA, and you'll get 33% off all your monthly subscriptions, all the premium services. Go there now and use promo code NBA. That's starting to heat up. The NHL and the cores and the coaches, which I'm one of those are starting to heat up. So double check. Make sure you go to Team Rise or Fall. Use promo code NBA. Can't beat it. It's one of the, if not the best, premium services for DFS in the entire world. United States, absolutely. But in the world, I would imagine Team Rise or Fall is probably in the top three, might be there at the top spot at number one. So enough with all the sensationalism. Let's talk about this game, shall we? So as I said, the Seattle Seahawks go to Washington to take on the Washington Redskins. The Washington football team. When you look at it, right now, Seattle, they're 3-7 in the NFC West. They're currently in last place. At this stage, there's no hope to make a wild card run. The division, that's just done and over with because you have the Arizona Cardinals playing so well. And luckily, I guess for Seattle, the Los Angeles Rams are not so hot. They looked awful on Sunday night, but I digress here. And the Washington football team still kind of afloat here. They are 4-6 NFC East. They have to, battle against the likes of the Cowboys and the Eagles, and I believe they are 4-6. So that bumps them up over the Giants right now. But the Giants played yesterday. Giants are 4-6. So seriously, the Washington football team, I would imagine, call me crazy, the Washington team has a better shot at maybe grabbing a wild card spot for the NFL playoffs. So enough with all the mumbo jumbo here. Let's talk about this game. So right off the bat, I have an idea here. It's in my notes, obviously, with a screenshot. I will share that. But right in the top right-hand corner here, I have some notes how I'm building this evening here. So to me, I'm going to attack this one with the Washington running backs, the Seattle wide receivers, and the Washington tight ends. Hopefully that made sense to you. As we get through the video, I'll lay it out beautifully. Be here about 10 minutes, and then you can split and build your lineup. So let's talk about the quarterbacks. As I was getting at, Russell Wilson, they go to Washington. Washington's dead last. They're 32nd overall in defending opposing quarterbacks. Russ Wilson, 15-5 on FanDuel, 11 grand on DraftKings here. And just again, a reminder, these are all flex prices. On FanDuel, doesn't mind, but on DraftKings, you have the flex spot and the captain spot. I believe Russ is like 15 or 16 something $1,000 on DraftKings in the captain spot. But let's get into it with his projections. I have Russ Wilson about 20 completions. I don't see this game being like an air show here. I have Russ Wilson 20 completions, 235 to 240 yards, and then 4 or 5 carries for another 20 yards. But I do firmly believe Russ Wilson is accountable for 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Don't think he gets much going on the ground in terms of finding the end zone. And on the opposite side of the field, Tyler Heineke. Seattle, they're okay. They're 13th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Heineke, 14-5 on FanDuel, and then on DraftKings, $9,800 here. Now, look, I've been saying this just about every time Washington is in a primetime spot, and I do this video. My whole rap was about, Tyler Heineke. Guy's got nothing to lose. He's just going for it all, and that still applies here. Heineke, although might not be a starting quarterback for 25 teams, he is the starting quarterback for the Washington football team, and I'll just say it. I'll say what you're thinking right now. Tyler Heineke is kind of fun to watch play football. He goes the extra mile. He lays it all out on the field here. So to me, Tyler Heineke, 22, maybe 23 completions, looking at almost the same yardage as Russ, probably 240, 245 here. He's also accountable for 2 touchdowns in the air, and I believe that Heineke has a better day on the ground in terms of scrambling and in breaking out of the pocket than Russ Wilson. 5-6 carries, 30, maybe 35 yards here. When we talk about the running backs, Alex Collins, Seattle in Washington, as you know, Washington's 19th overall against opposing running backs. So Collins, 11 grand on FanDuel, $6,600 on DraftKings. As odd as it sounds, right now, Alex Collins is the Seahawks lead back. And what does that mean for tonight specifically, Chris? I'll tell you. About 14, 15 carries, looking at maybe 50 yards. 60 would be ambitious, but hey, crazier things have happened. So 14, 15 carries. I do believe Alex Collins finds the end zone on the ground here, and one or two receptions for 10 yards. Nothing crazy here. Next up, I have this player highlighted. To me, he's a must-add, must-play tonight in DFS formats. That's DJ Dallas. He's $99,500 on FanDuel, $5,200 on DraftKings. And as I said, Washington, they're like 19th overall. But look, I have DJ for around 8-9 carries. Wouldn't be shocked to see DJ get to double-digit carries in this one, 10, maybe 11. That's the cutoff here. And in terms of receptions, 2-3 receptions. You know what? It might not be nuts to think that DJ Dallas could get to four, maybe 5 receptions here. Maybe that is crazy given the fact that we've yet to talk about Tyler Locket or DK Metcalf here. But to me, I'm excited. The possibilities are endless for DJ Dallas tonight. And as I was getting at, maybe 2-3 receptions, 20 yards. And that's where I think he finds the end zone. A reception touchdown from the hands of Russell Wilson. When we go to the Washington side of things, Antonio Gibson, a.k.a. Gibby, going to have a ton of room to roam around in this one. The Seattle Seahawks, they're 31st against opposing running backs here. So Gibby, 12 grand on FanDuel, $8,600 on DraftKings. I have Gibby for a very healthy workload, 16, 17 total carries. You're looking at 70, maybe even 75 yards, 2-3 receptions, another 10 or 15 yards, and I do have Gibby finding the end zone on the ground here. But when we pivot to J.D. McKissic here, he's also highlighted here because his cheap price. I think he can get the job done, and especially in PPR formats like DraftKings here. J.D. McKissic, $9,500 on FanDuel, only $7,200 on DraftKings. McKissic, we know the deal, doesn't get a ton of carries. You're looking at 5, maybe 6 carries, but he'll put up 20, 25 yards in this one. But personally speaking, I firmly believe J.D. McKissic just goes nuts as a receiver in the flat, out of the backfield, however you want to put it here. I have J.D. McKissic, hand to the sky, call me crazy, but that's the kind of mindset we have to be in if we're in large GPPs for Monday Night Football. I have McKissic, 5-6 receptions, 50-plus yards, and a touchdown, a receiving touchdown here. So make sure you get DJ Dallas, J.D. McKissic in your lineups in lieu of, let's just say, Alex Collins and or Antonio Gibson. Now look, I'm not saying Antonio Gibson isn't a great play tonight. I'm saying from a DFS perspective, from an ownership perspective, I would prefer DJ Dallas and J.D. McKissic. Now let's talk about the Seattle wide receivers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Which way are we going to go here? A little secret, I have them both highlighted here. DK Metcalf, 13.5 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, $8,800. And Washington is 30th overall in defending opposing wide receivers. Lockett, 12.5 on FanDuel, $10,200 on DraftKings. Both players are going to be able to do as they please. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned this is where you attack this slate. Washington running backs and the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers here. DK Metcalf, 9-10 targets, 6+ receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. And when we look at Tyler Lockett, 7-8 targets, 5 receptions, 70 total yards. Now, when you talk about Tyler Lockett, any broadcast podcast I've been on or any broadcast I've watched. Not throwing shade, but everybody says the same thing in terms of Tyler Lockett. Is this going to be a blow-up game? If it is, good luck kind of predicting when those, 300 yards, 3 touchdown kind of games, when that's going to happen. Could it be possible tonight? Sure, given the defense for the Washington football team. Is it likely? No. How could you predict 300 receiving yards and 3-4 touchdown receptions here? Let's talk about Terry McLaurin. Seattle, they're 15th overall against opposing wide receivers. Scary Terry, $14,000 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, $10,600. So you're looking at 9-10 targets, easy peasy, 7 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown reception. So as it stands now, you can do this. I've already booked this lineup here. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Terry McLaurin in the same lineup here. And as we get down later in the video, I'll show you where I'm mixing and matching, and feel free to do the same or make your own way in tonight's slate here. So when we go down the list, there's nothing crazy in terms of the other wide receivers. Freddie Swain, D. Eskridge, the rookie, 1-2 targets. He's only $200 on DraftKings, but what's the point? You could roster up a DST or a kicker instead if need be. And then the Washington wide receivers, DeAndre Carter, he's kind of started to assume that wide receiver 2 role for Washington since Adam Humphries has been inactive, since Curtis Samuel was inactive. But as you probably already know, Curtis Samuel looks to be activated tonight to play Monday Night Football. And what a letdown he's been. But again, no fault of his own. You can't predict injuries, or you can't get down on a player for injuries. I'm sure Curtis Samuel wasn't like, you know what, I just signed this big contract with Washington. I think I want to sit out the season with a hip or a hamstring issue. He didn't do that. Just be mindful. Samuel, $8,000 on FanDuel, $5K on DraftKings, 5-6 targets, 3 maybe 4 receptions, 45 or 50 yards, and then 1 maybe 2 carries for an additional 5 or 6 yards. We know what Curtis Samuel can do. He is the definition of a Swiss Army knife, but being his first game back in a very long time, I would think that Washington takes it easy with him here. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how the head coaches are. I do know Washington needs a win big time. In terms of the tight end, nothing really special I want to talk about. Of the, Gerald Everett, Will Dissly, Logan Thomas looks to be activated and playing today. John Bates, I know a lot of folks who are forced to start John Bates in seasonal formats given the very grim, state of tight ends right now. So to me, I guess I would prefer John Bates. $6,500 on FanDuel. DraftKings only $3,600. But if Logan Thomas is back, John Bates gets a massive, bump down here. So why would I mention him? It's just a price tag issue. Look, as I said, 6.5 on FanDuel, 3.6 on DraftKings, 2 maybe 3 targets, 1-2 receptions, maybe 10 or so yards here. But is there a case here where inside the red zone, what happens if the game script calls for it and Washington is in the red zone? They're inside the 5-yard line. And the previous drive before that, Logan Thomas is gassed, he's winded, and boom, in comes John Bates. Everybody's looking at Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, and bam, John Bates catches a touchdown pass, and that's just about it. So you're looking at if Bates at his price tag catches 2 passes for 15 yards and one of them is a touchdown, that's all gravy for a single game slate. When we talk about the kickers, Jason Myers, Joey Sly, nothing too crazy there. Of the 2, I would prefer Joey Sly because that's how I have this game going here. A very close, contested game. I think we're in for a treat here. I have the final score being around 24-21 in favor of the Washington football team. So let me run what I have down briefly. Grab a pen, grab a paper, piece of paper. Let me know when you're ready. All good? All right, here we go. DJ Dallas, J.D. McKissick, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Terry McLaurin. Those are my 5 players that I'm using tonight in a multi-entry GPP. And if I remember correctly, with those 5 men, you have $1,000 left over. So there's one, if you want to use one spot, say, instead of DJ Dallas, you have $1,000 extra bucks left over. DJ Dallas, 9.5 on FanDuel. If you want to use him as a revolving door or a pivot, you'd have $10,500 left over to complement McKissick, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Terry McLaurin. You're probably asking yourself right now, you're not going with any of the quarterbacks here. Well, that's the way I've looked at this slate, and I think that's the direction I'm going. Is there an edge to fading the quarterbacks? Sure. Can you get, just stomped on if you fade the quarterbacks? Absolutely. But that's my MO on a single game slate. I thank you for being here. Just make sure you go to Team Rise or Fall, double check what you're doing there. They have most of the content, especially this video, a lot of it's free. If you want the premium content, go there now. Cyber Monday special. Use promo code NBA and you'll get 33% off. You get a portion of your premium service goes to Fantasy Cruncher. You can optimize lines, you can mix and match, and let's not forget the Team Rise or Fall Study Hub. It is priceless to me. Ownership percentages, game flow tabs. It's insane here. So make sure you go to Team Rise or Fall. If you want, tell them that Detroit Beastie, aka Chris Robin, sent you, and we'll see what we get here. So until next time, be safe and have fun. Can you believe it? Week 12 is just about over. Bam, on to week 13. I will see you next time. Let's get together for Thursday Night Football. Have a good week. Bye.